Broadcasting down in the bayou, it's Mark Out Mania, a podcast featuring two average Joe wrestling fans talking about the business they love and so much more. And now, here's Ryan Keith and Patrick Fry.
And welcome to another episode of Mark Out Mania. Patrick, what's up, man?
Oh, not too much. Actually just finished watching the Greatest Royal Rumble last night. I had to luckily I didn't have to record it thanks to the WWE Network. But you can watch it basically on demand anytime. I was at Jazz Fest on Friday, which was a fun experience. So I had to watch it yesterday, which was Saturday yesterday. Finally finished it last night, the 5-hour extravaganza, which to me felt like a WrestleMania. So we're going to talk about that here in just a little bit. This is Mark Out Mania, episode number 25, our silver episode, so to speak, for April the 29th, 2018. We're going to go over our scorecard results. We have a tie for first place, so two guys are going to get the belt, but what two guys are going to get it, find out here in just a little bit. We're also going to dive into the Greatest Royal Rumble, discuss everything that happened there. Also, New Japan Pro Wrestling Haino Kuni took place earlier this morning. We're going to talk about the results there. Also, preview Wrestling Dantaku, which will be coming up later on this week, the two-night event. A lot of big matches there. Also, Backlash coming up next Sunday as well. We also got Cheap Heat. And then, is this a new segment we're going to do? Are they worth it? Have we done that before?
We've done it with wrestlers, but this time it's the announcer edition.
So, yes, so for the second time, we're going to do Are They Worth It? Announcer edition. And I'm a big fan of announcers, at least some of them. So this is going to be very interesting. Hopefully, I've heard of the ones that I'm sure a lot of the ones you have.
They're all current WWE.
Okay, well, cool. Well, we'll do that. So that's basically what we have on tap for today's episode.
Right. Find us on the World Wide Web at your central hub, markoutmania.com. Follow us on Twitter at markoutmania and subscribe to us and follow us on iTunes. Now, with iTunes, if you would, leave us a comment and go ahead and rate us, because that's going to get us in the iTunes algorithm so that we can be featured or suggested. So it'll help get the brand out there, and it'll help you boys a lot on iTunes.
All right, so let's dive into the first topic. Obviously, Greatest Royal Rumble took place a couple of days ago over in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. I tell you what, they made Jeddah looked like a paradise, and of course, I was looking at a lot of the video packages that they were doing. It looks like a really cool place to go and see. Is just, the culture is so much different. We were talking about it before we started the podcast. The atmosphere over there, it was a very good atmosphere, but it was also very, very different. Like, obviously, I don't think WWE has never done a show like this in a place like this, so you expect some differences, but man, I tell you what, just the crowd, and I don't know. To me, it was just, at times, it felt a little off to me.
You know what? Last week, Casey was saying, that they're a little bit behind the times. And the older wrestlers got the biggest pops. Like, they went crazy for Randall Orton.
Oh, they did.
I was like, holy crap, what are they doing? This dude, like, come on. And they went wild for Cena, Undertaker, stuff like that. But yeah, all the older wrestlers, the old guard, they got some serious pops.
Absolutely, yeah. It was, and the way the stadium was set up, all the floor seats were reserved for, I think, what they called the royal family.
Yeah, the House of Saudi or something,
or something like that. So I think a lot of the people on the ground were there. It seemed like a lot of people, because they were walking around, talking to each other during matches, so it seemed to them more like a social event amongst one another rather than just going down, sitting and enjoying the show, which I'm sure a lot of them did. I noticed there were a lot of kids down there, too. I think the kids obviously enjoyed the show a lot more than the adults did. And then you have the rest of the upper decks and everything. I think that's where all the hardcore Saudi wrestling fans were, because you could hear the crowd, but it felt like it was coming from a distance. Like, there was a lot of times, because obviously wrestlers talk with one another in the ring as to what's, what are we about to do.
Where'd it go, John Cena?
There was a lot of times where I could hear them talking to one another, because I felt like all the people on the floor weren't making nearly as much noise as the people behind them in the upper decks and everything. So that allowed us, the viewers at home, to hear what was happening inside the ring a lot more, because obviously the mics are much closer to the ring, and you don't have those fans up in the front row who are hooping and hollering for whoever, and obviously would drown out what the wrestlers are doing in the ring. But in this case, that was not the case. So it was that was very interesting. But I'm going to be interested to see if they, every year this might be a thing, because I mean, look, they went all out for this, in my opinion. It felt like a WrestleMania. They were kissing Saudi Arabian butt all night long. I mean, look, I'm not hating on them. Look, if you want the Saudi money, that's what you got to do. You got to, they were having dinners with officials and basically just doing everything that they could to, I guess, have that partnership, kind of lock it in, I guess, in a way.
Yeah.
So the show was awesome, I think. I would give it about, if I had to rate it out of 10 stars, I would give it an 8 out of 10. There were some good matches, in my opinion. The most entertaining match of the night, maybe other than the Royal Rumble match, was the Cruiserweight Championship match. That match was really good. Alexander and Kalisto kind of tore the house down a little bit. Like, I would give that match, if I'm Dave Meltzer, I would give it at least 4.25 stars. It was
Hashtag stay relevant.
Yes, and it was that good of a match. And it came on right after, it was the second match of the night, right after Cena and Triple H, which to me, that match was, I don't know, it was a little stale to me.
Well, I tell you what, though, Triple H, fantastic shape.
Oh, yeah, that dude he's kind of like the LeBron James as far as staying in shape as older. I think he's becoming in better shape as he gets older. He just knows how to take care of his body.
He's way more cut now.
Oh, yeah, he just knows how to take care of his body, and obviously he's one of the best ring performers ever, him and Cena going at it. So, and like I said, their match was a little stale, but with those two guys, you could have a stale match just because of who they are. It's John Cena and Triple H, like, two of the biggest stars in the history of WWE, probably two of the biggest stars in the last 20 years in the company. So, and it was a good way to start off because, Cena comes out, has all the kids on the stage and all the Saudi kids.
I got to say a little something about that.
All the Saudi kids on the stage. So everybody was all hyped up. It was the first, because they didn't have no matches on the pre-show, so this was the first match of the night. So the Saudi crowd was on their feet, and even, Triple H got a good little pop, I think, too, because you got to realize that WWE has never had this kind of show in Saudi Arabia. So the fact that, if I'm a Saudi Arabian, which I would never have any idea what that's like, but if I had to guess, they would have been excited to see anybody come out and perform, whether it be Triple H, John Cena, The Miz, whoever. It doesn't matter. They would have been excited. They would have probably given them a pop, especially the old guys. You were talking about it, I think, before we started the podcast, that a lot of the older guys, Undertaker, Triple H, John Cena, Randy Orton, they had a huge pop for Randy Orton. I was I was a little surprised about the massive pop he got.
They went ballistic, dude.
Yeah, he might have had the loudest pop of anybody in the Rumble.
They were jumping around like he was the hottest thing.
It was. I mean, he's been around a while. He has some longevity with the company. He's been with them since 2002. I mean, the guy's been there for now, 16 years? I mean, you think about it, time's kind of, and he's sometimes flown under the radar because you had guys like John Cena who've come in at the same time as he had and has basically run the same course as Randy Orton. And John Cena obviously is this larger-than-life superstar, and Randy Orton is probably a ring or two below him, not far behind him in my opinion, but Randy Orton he's been around a long time, and he's got a huge fan base. I can tell you that because any wrestling event I've ever gone to, especially when he's a face, like right now, when he's a heel, he gets the heat. He knows how to get the heat. He really does, and he's a really good heel, and he's a better heel than a face in my opinion. But he, as a face, he doesn't even really have to do anything. Yeah. He just people like him, and
he's got a cool intro song.
He does. He has one of the coolest intro songs in WWE today. But I was really surprised as to how big that pop was that he got when he came out. So, but hey, but then again, like I said, it was a different crowd. It was a completely different crowd, a completely different culture, a completely different country, a different continent, a different hemisphere than what they're really used to to performing on. So, I expected the crowd to be different. It was just it was very unique, very unusual. But overall, I give the event, like I said, about 8 out of 10 stars. It was really good. If I'm Saudi Arabia, I'm very impressed with that because, like I said, it felt like a WrestleMania. They had fireworks. It was in a humongous stadium of 60,000 people. I mean, and then just 3 weeks after WrestleMania, you have this kind of event. So it was, I don't know, it was just very entertaining to me, I found. Just all around, like I said, they kissed some Saudi Arabian butt a little too much, like take your nose out their butt just a little bit. And you don't have to, I understand you want to, I don't know the word to describe, you want to please them, I guess is the word.
Placate. Yeah,
placate. So overall, I think it was a good show. I'd be okay if they went back next year to do another Greatest Royal Rumble because this is the kind of match, a 50-man Royal Rumble match, that can main event anywhere, and it would be entertaining.
Yeah.
And the right guy won. Braun Strowman won. That was obviously the ending of the show, and they had the humongous trophy, which was almost as big as Braun Strowman, and then that green belt that they had. Mm-hmm. So cool little keepsake for Braun Strowman. You were saying before we went on the air, hopefully he doesn't carry it around.
Oh, yeah, that'd be lame.
Because this seems like it could be a once a year kind of thing. Have your Royal Rumble in January where the winner goes to WrestleMania, but then have a 50-man Royal Rumble, after WrestleMania, just to kind of, I don't know, they did the show in Saudi Arabia, just to appease the Saudi Arabian fans. So it was a really cool show. My favorite match, the best match in my opinion, was the Cruiserweight title match. Then I would say the ladder match for the Intercontinental title was really good, a really good finish. Lesnar-Reigns was a really good finish, too. That was very unexpected. Reigns speared Lesnar through the side of the cage.
Yeah.
And I had picked Reigns to win on my scorecard. I still wanted instant replay on this instance but the rules that were stated before the match, must escape the cage with both feet hitting the floor. You know whose feet hit the floor first?
Roman Reigns.
Because
Lesnar was on the cage.
Yeah, Lesnar's back, I guess, technically hit the ground first, but the cage was still separating his back from the ground. So
and his feet.
Yeah, by rule, if you're going by that rule, Reigns won the match. But, I mean, I don't make the decisions. And I was kind of like, dang it, because that right there, scorecard points for me, because I think, I don't know if Cruz or Brink had put, I can't remember, they put one of them put Lesnar, so I definitely could have called one on that. Could have been the difference right there, but I think Reigns should have won that match. But then again, the interesting thing, and I'm eventually going to let you talk. I'm going on and on here. They were talking about how the reaction that Roman Reigns was going to get in Saudi Arabia, it wasn't much better than what he gets in the States. It was a little better, but not much better. Like, he wasn't, certainly Randy Orton got a bigger pop than Roman Reigns did, but I don't know. I think the Saudi Arabian crowd is about the same as an American crowd as far as the reaction that Roman Reigns got. And I think one of the reasons Brock kept the belt is that they want to wait until Reigns gets more over before giving him that belt. So, but I don't see that happening anytime soon. So that's just me. But go ahead. What are your thoughts on everything?
Well, another thing that's getting around the internet, thanks to Hurricane Shane Helms, Hornswoggle was not properly eliminated as well. If you remember, he went under the second rope, went up to the turnbuckle. He was going to do like a tadpole splash. Mm-hmm. I think Ziggler kicked him in his face, went down to the mat, then he started tussling with somebody, and then Dash Wilder gave him a knee and threw him off the mat. With those rules, you're supposed to be eliminated over the top rope, which he was not.
I think there was a part where when he was on the top rope and he was, I think, kicked or whatever, he kind of came back in, but didn't completely come back in the ring. So he was partially back in the ring, and then I think went back over, obviously the top rope. So I don't know. I guess that's just what they called it, but I don't know.
Obviously, you're not going to have Hornswoggle win.
I mean, I also remember at WrestleMania, it looked like Nakamura got a 3 count on AJ Styles, and then he kicked out. And, if it's a mistake, it's a very minor mistake. Obviously, that I didn't catch it at first. Shane Helms apparently caught it. I never caught it, so it was nice to see Hornswoggle back, though. He
yes, that
did
was
a couple
awesome.
couple of nice moves there by old Hornswoggle.
I was like, dang you, Brink.
Yeah, Brink got the extra 5 points there for putting Hornswoggle on his unscheduled appearances. I thought about doing that, but I was trying to go a different route to try and get some points that he wouldn't get, and I failed miserably coming back. By the way, we didn't go over the scores, I think.
No.
Of the... I don't think Hunter... I guess Hunter wasn't able to fill one out. He had never said anything. But Brink and Cruz tied at first, 128. I got 108, and Ryan got 97. So the interesting thing about it all was no title changes. The only title change was the vacant Raw Tag Team titles, which, of course, Matt and Bray Wyatt won. As a matter of fact, let me go over the results here. I haven't even gone over the results. John Cena pinned Triple H. Cedric Alexander retained his Cruiserweight title by pinning Kalisto. Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt defeated Sheamus and Cesaro via pinfall to win the Raw Tag Team Championships. Jeff Hardy defeated Jinder Mahal. And by the way, I was starting to come around to Jinder being, putting on some decent matches. That dude had about a 2 or 3 minute period in this match where that dude had the worst botch. He botched twice. There was Jeff Hardy went to the top rope and did what's that move called where he just kind of jumps and flips and lands on somebody.
Yeah.
And he did it, completely missed Jinder Mahal.
Yeah.
And Jinder stood there and 2 seconds later just fell.
Yeah.
It was so bad. And the announcers tried to play it off maybe he just caught a piece of him. Maybe the ring shook and he fell down. I was like, dude, he botched it. Come on now.
Yeah.
Call it like it is. So I am now officially off the Jinder Mahal wagon. He needs to go put him in the...
Wouldn't that have been awesome if the Saudi crowd started chanting, "You effed up"?
Oh, that would have been great. That would have been so awesome. So Jeff Hardy retains the United States Championship. Eric Rowan and Luke Harper defeat the Usos to retain the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. Seth Rollins defeated Finn Balor, Samoa Joe, and The Miz in the ladder match, which Finn Balor almost won. I had Finn Balor winning that match. That was another one I needed because I was the only one I think that picked Finn Balor to win that match. He was about to grab the belt. He was there, and then Rollins jumps from the rope onto the ladder just out of nowhere, and hurries up, runs down, grabs the belt, and almost like they were comparing it to the heist of the century at WrestleMania 31. He just kind of came out of nowhere, climbed up the ladder, took it, and he retains the Intercontinental Championship. AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura double countout draw, so AJ retains the title there. The Undertaker defeated Rusev in a casket match. Brock Lesnar defeated Roman Reigns in a steel cage match via escape, which there was a little bit of controversy there. And then Braun Strowman defeated the other 49 superstars to win the 50-man Royal Rumble match. So that is the official results of the greatest Royal Rumble. So after all that, I mean, what some more? I know you got some more that you took away from it.
Yeah. Obviously, they were thinking, how can we get John over after this messy breakup? Let's just put a bunch of kids up there. He doesn't like kids.
Yeah, and he kind of even mentioned, he's like, despite what's going on in my universe, I was not going to miss this for the world. So he did that little spiel after his match was over. So.
Way to go, John. Looks like you're going to get out of this one, too.
So is this what you had to say about the John Cena thing with the kids?
Yeah, man. He doesn't even like kids, and he's giving them all high fives, and you're
just playing to the Saudis, man. Yeah.
And then greatest tweet goes out to the Usos with the hashtag Titus World Slide. And I was telling my son 10 minutes before it happened, because a few wrestlers, when they ran down, they looked shaky. Mm-hmm. And I was like, Elijah, this is going to be so funny if somebody falls. 10 minutes later, cue Titus O'Neil.
Yep.
And Brink had a great observation. What made it hilarious, what made it even funnier than it was, because it's daggum funny, was that we didn't know what happened at first. You hear Corey Graves go, that didn't just happen, or Michael Cole will say, that didn't just happen. And then Corey Graves actually lose it and start laughing uncontrollably. And then they showed us what happened in the replay.
It's crazy because they showed Titus coming down to the ring, And, I mean, probably 2 seconds before he falls, they change the camera angle back to what's going on in the ring.
Yeah.
And then you hear Grace, that didn't just happen, and they go back. You just see Titus's feet hanging out from under the ring, and I'm like, wait, did he? And Brink was like thinking, it's like it was so funny because like you're thinking, wait, did he just do what I think he did? Then they showed the replay, and sure enough, busted his you know what head first, actually body first,
baseball
under the ring,
slide,
baseball slid under the ring, and I was at first, my very first thought was, is he going to get a weapon? Like what's going on? Like. No, he slipped and fell, and they showed the replay because apparently Vince was in the back dying laughing and told them to keep playing the replay. Like,
God bless him.
Oh, man, dude. It was arguably the greatest moment in the history of Royal Rumbles.
Yes.
So that was very entertaining. It's getting the meme treatment all over the internet. It was, man, I tell you what, certainly the most unforgettable moment of the greatest Royal Rumble event. Titus O'Neil. If that doesn't happen, what is the most memorable moment of the event though? Like it's hard to think about it. Like I was excited when Rey Mysterio came out. Also, they had a couple of randoms. Who was that sumo wrestler that came out very early on?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know who this. Let me see.
They had some dudes from NXT that I never saw before either.
Yeah, they had. Let's see. I'm looking at the names right here of who came out. Where is this?
I tell you what, the one that I was impressed with was Tucker Knight from Heavy Machinery. That guy is humongous.
Yeah,
he's agile like a cat.
And then they had Babatunde. I never heard of him. There was another guy. Where's he at? Trying to look for him here on this list. This list is kind of... Dan Math is another one. I never heard of him. But who... I'm looking for the name of this the sumo wrestler that came out. I said it was... Hiroki Sumi.
Oh, I saw that on the Unscheduled. I didn't know.
Hiroki Sumi.
Who is that?
Let's see. This was his only wrestling match he was ever in. Because I'm on ProFightDB.com. And I'm looking at his history of wrestling matches. The only wrestling match he had ever been in was this match. So, he's not a professional wrestler. He is a sumo wrestler. Apparently, a very well-known sumo wrestler in Japan.
Yeah.
So that's that. I was like, it was just so random.
Yeah.
But he came out and went toe-to-toe with Mark Henry very early on in the Rumble match. So that was kind of cool. But and then Mike Kanellis came out, basically went all the way to Saudi Arabia to last 1 second in the Rumble match. So he definitely had the shortest time, which I didn't even see that coming. Mike Kanellis showing up. So that was interesting as well. But overall, show was really good. AJ Styles Nakamura match I think was a little bit better than their WrestleMania match. I'm just looking down the card here. Still my favorite match was Cedric Alexander and Kalisto. That match, if anybody hasn't watched that match, go back and watch it because it was 10 minutes and 10 seconds of some great wrestling. It was absolutely tremendous. My hats off to Alexander and Kalisto for and the finish was great too. Kalisto was going for his finish and Alexander reversed it into his finish, and it was kind of crazy, and it was really cool. So definitely go back. I would give that at least 4.25 stars. That match. At the very least, that's how good that match was. So that's just my thoughts on it.
Yeah, and we were talking earlier, and of course this is circulating the internet as well. The Saudi government had to apologize to their citizens for a commercial that was played during the event.
It was promoting, I think,
Backlash, wasn't it?
Yeah, Backlash. Charlotte versus Carmella, and then Nia versus Alexa. So they had to apologize for those two being shown up, on the advertisement. So it was, I felt like that was not needed, obviously, but I don't know. So I don't know what the deal is with this whole Saudi Arabian progression to be, I guess, I don't know how to say it, more equal rights, I guess, in a way.
Yeah.
But as they were showing a thing early on in the show about how, they just allowed Saudi women to drive and this and that and stuff. And so, I don't know. There's all this talk about how, I guess, the leader now is trying to move in that direction, but yet you got to apologize for for WWE showing women in advertisements. Like, come on now. Like, let's be real.
But then again, who makes that mistake in the back? Because, I mean, you've already told your women wrestlers you can't come because we're in Saudi Arabia and they don't want you there. But they're going to show a commercial? I mean, who made that decision?
That's the thing. It wasn't even a commercial. It was literally like a 10-second like graphic. Charlotte versus
a little teaser.
Yeah, it was literally what it was. So it was, I don't know. It's one of those touchy subjects, obviously, but I don't think that. Of course, Saudi Arabia, you know, they do what they want to do. You know, whatever culture, customs they have over there. By all means, do what y'all do. But come on now, you really have to apologize for that. I mean, they sound about as you know, sensitive as Americans do now. So it's, I don't know. It's whatever. But I'm hoping that, you know, hopefully that, I think next year at WrestleMania, the women will get to shine in the main event. Because, of course, obviously the rumor for next year's WrestleMania is Charlotte and Ronda in the main event. So the women will have their day, trust me.
Yeah.
But anyway, so any more thoughts on the greatest Royal Rumble?
No.
I think we kind of covered most of it, if not all of it.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know what the attendance was. Let me look at the attendance. I think it was about 62,000 people.
I did see some empty seats.
Well, that's the thing.
That might have been with the ticket faux pas thing.
Well, that's the thing. In the front, on the floor where it was all reserved, it felt like it was a social event. So people were getting up, moving around, talking to one another. Like I said, it was more like a social event than going to an actual wrestling event to me, at least for the people at the bottom, because I'm assuming like it was the royal family, you know. So I think a lot of people on the ground, they were all family members. A lot of them probably were family members, knew each other. Attendance, it just says 60,000, so it was about I guess 60,000 people were there. But it was a cool event overall. I think. Something different, something, you know, I'm all about different. When you do something different and you can nail it like that, and the fact that it felt like a WrestleMania, I enjoyed it, and I would be okay if they went back next year and did it all over again.
Yeah, and you know, we were talking about this a little bit earlier in the pre-show. It's crazy how, okay, the ground floor was for royalty, and some of them were wearing traditional Saudi garb, and other people were just wearing T-shirts and hats and stuff like that. It was weird to see the dynamic there, how some people are still traditional and some people are still or more westernized.
Yeah.
So it was pretty crazy.
It was. So overall, though, great show. I would definitely be okay if they did it again next year. And also, let's go to some other countries. You know, let's do some other network specials and stuff like that. So that's what you have the network for, to do stuff like this. And obviously, you are drawing a lot of attention to yourself, not only here in America, but, you know, around the world, and especially in Saudi Arabia when you do stuff like this. So definitely, I think it helped more than it hurt WWE. It might have hurt a little bit with the Women's Revolution thing, but overall, I think it helped. So looking forward to some possible network, you know, specials in the future.
Yeah.
With that being said, another event that took place this weekend over in Japan, New Japan Pro Wrestling Hainokuni. And here are the results for that. Let's make sure I don't butcher some of these names.
You got this.
Nagata and Narita defeated Umino and Oka in a tag team match. Second match was an 8-man tag match. David Finlay, Jushin Thunder Liger, Tiger Mask, and Taguchi defeated Sho, Yo, Rocky Romero, and Jay White. The third match, a tag team match, Tomohiro Ishii and Toru Yano defeated Maccabi and Hanari. Oh man, hope I'm doing all right, Brink.
You're rolling.
The fourth match was an 8-man tag team match. Zack Sabre Jr., Takashi Iizuka, Taichi, and Taka Michinoku.
Yeah.
Haven't heard that name in a while. They defeated the team of Kenny Omega, Kota Ibushi, Takahashi, and Chase Owens. The fifth match was Hiroshi Tanahashi, Juice Robinson, Michael Elgin, and Kushida defeating Will Ospreay, Yoshihashi, Haruki Goto, and Kazuchika Okada. And the sixth match was a special singles match. It was Bushi defeating El Desperado. Seventh match was Takahashi, another special singles match. Takahashi defeating Kanemaru. And then the 8th match was the IWGP Tag Team Championships. Sonata and Evil retained their titles by defeating Davey Boy Smith Jr. and Lance Archer. The main event, one more match. The main event was the Intercontinental Championship match. We have a new Intercontinental Champion. Tetsuya Naito defeated Minoru Suzuki. So we have a new Intercontinental Champion, the 18th Intercontinental Champion, Tetsuya Naito.
I wonder if Harry Smith Jr. cleared up his legal stuff, or if he's just on the run.
That's interesting. Is it because Harry Smith Jr. You mean Davey Boy Smith Jr.?
Yeah.
I guess I don't know, but he wrestled this morning at this show, so I don't know.
I guess he's they're not coming to Japan for me.
I guess not, but I mean they might. Well, I don't know how that works, but maybe they're if he comes to America, he might want to keep his eyes open, but. With that being said, that took place last night, so that leads us now to Wrestling Dantaku, which will be Thursday, May 3rd, and Friday, May 4th this coming week. Right now, I'm going to go over all the matches that will happen at this event. On Thursday, this is night 1. The first match is Yota Tsuji and Shota Umino versus Chase Owens and Takahashi. Second match will be a 6-man tag match. Narita, Oka, and Nagata will take on Taguchi, Tiger Mask, and Jushin Thunder Liger. Third match will be Sho, Yo, and Rocky Romero taking on Aizuka, Davey Boy Smith Jr., and Lance Archer. The fourth match is a 10-man tag team match. Hanari, Elgin, Maccabee, Finley, Robinson will take on Hashi, Yano, Ishii, Jay White, and Goto. The next match is for the never open-weight 6-man tag team championship. It's Loa, Tonga, Bad Luck Fale taking on Marty Scurll, Nick Jackson, and Matt Jackson. That should
really
be that should
the OGs against the new guys. Huh?
Yeah, that's and the Scurll, Jackson, and Nick and Matt Jackson. They're the challengers, so they're looking to get that never open weight 6-man tag team championship. The next match is a 10-man tag team match. Takahashi, Bushi, Sonata, Evil, and Naito, the new Intercontinental Champion, taking on El Desperado, Kanemaru, Taichi, Zack Sabre Jr., and Suzuki. The next match is a special tag match. Kushida and Tanahashi taking on Will Ospreay and Okada. The next match is a special singles match. Kota Ibushi versus Cody. That'll be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And also the main event for night 1 will be a special singles match. Kenny Omega versus Hangman Page.
Nice.
That one will be fun as well. Let's go now to night number 2. This will be Friday, May the 4th. The first match, 6-man tag, Taguchi, Tiger Mask, Jushin Thunder Liger taking on Imura, Narita, and Umino. Let me look on... Nope, I thought Brink might have been on the Discord, maybe correcting me on some of these, but he's not. Second match will be a tag match, Oka and Nagata versus Chase Owens and Takahashi. Third match, 6-man tag, Sho, Yo, and Rocky Romero taking on Taka Michinoku, Taichi, and Aizuka. The next match will be the fourth match, tag team match, Hanari and Maccabee versus Yano and Ishii. Fifth match, 6-man tag, Elgin, Finley, Robinson taking on Hashi, White, and Goto. The sixth match will be a 10-man tag match. Takahashi, Bushi, Sonata, Evil, and Naito taking on El Desperado, Kanemaru, Davey Boy Smith Jr., Lance Archer, and Minoru Suzuki. The seventh match, another 10-man tag match. This one will probably be fun, too. Tangaloa, Tamatonga, Bad Luck Fale, Kota Ibushi, and Kenny Omega taking on the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson, Marty Scurll, Hangman Page, and Cody. That one's going to be fun. Mm-hmm. The next match, eighth match, will be the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. Will Ospreay will defend against Kushida. And the main event, the IWGP Heavyweight Championship, will be on the line. Kazuchika Okada looking to extend his very long title reign as he takes on Hiroshi Tanahashi. Mm-hmm. So that's all going down Thursday and Friday. That's going to be two great nights of wrestling there. So we did see a title change last night. The Intercontinental title, Naito won it there. So interesting. It'll be interesting to see if we see any other title changes. I don't see Okada beating Tanahashi. Maybe Kushida beats Will Ospreay though for the junior heavyweight IWGP junior heavyweight.
Did you say you don't see Okada beating Tanahashi?
No, I do. I see. I don't see Tanahashi. I might have said it wrong by accident. I don't see Tanahashi beating Okada. Now that I think about it, I think I did say it wrong. But Okada's definitely right now at this point. I only see Okada losing to Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega is the only guy I think that should beat him because Okada is so impressive. His title reign is so impressive that only a guy as impressive as Kenny Omega can take that title from him. So,
do you think we'll see that title change at the G1 special in San Francisco?
Maybe.
Yeah?
I'm not sure. I don't know. It's kind of far ahead to look. I don't think they have any.
Selling tickets.
Well, yeah, that'd be cool to go to.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if Japan would want the IWGP Heavyweight title to change hands on American soil. I think they would rather have that change hands on Japanese soil. So as of right now, I would say no, not at the G1 special, but certainly. But because isn't the winner of the G1 special actually gets a title match?
That's
though?
Right.
That's what it is.
That's right.
But he may defend the title at the G1 special. I don't know. He'll retain it. But I could see Kenny Omega winning the G1 special again,
right? And
definitely going on.
Shot,
I think they get the shot at Wrestle Kingdom next year. So
that's right.
We could see Okada and Omega next year at Wrestle Kingdom. That is when I could see the title definitely changing hands. But that's way down the line.
Yeah.
So a lot's going to happen between now and then. But certainly, I don't see Okada losing that title belt this weekend.
Yeah, Hangman Page tweeted. I guess he got opened up pretty good this morning because he said, "It's okay, everybody. Flip Gordon just glued my skull back together."
Yeah, Flip Gordon, another one at Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor. He was all over the place. So,
one more thing. I'm guessing the whole Jericho Naito angle is dead in the water with Jericho back in WWE, right?
You know what's funny? You say that because when Jericho came out, it was the 50th man. He's the last man to come out in the Rumble. Owens was in the ring, and you can hear Owens like yelling at Jericho, "Go back to Japan." So, I don't know. I guess the whole Jericho Naito thing is kind of because I think at one time I read somewhere that Jericho was like, "I'm done with New Japan. Like that's it. I don't know. He could be kayfabing it. I don't know. But obviously, since then we have not seen a trace of Jericho in New Japan.
Right.
But maybe coming up, you talk about the G1 special here in America. Could we see Jericho show up? His band is done touring. He just had his probably one-off appearance in WWE for the time being. Who knows? I'm not sure what we're going to see out of Chris Jericho coming up, but would definitely love to see maybe Jericho versus Naito at the G1 special here in America. Maybe they could have a build-up to that. When is the G1 special here in America? It's sometime this summer, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's June, July.
Let me look it up.
Look at this. I just looked up Chris Jericho's net worth. What wrestler do they have pictured on there?
Oh, my goodness.
That's Chris Benoit.
Yeah, that is Chris Benoit. Wrong Chris, wrong Canadian. I mean, yeah. The wrong Canadian Chris is what I meant.
So it says Chris Jericho is worth $18 million, and I figured it would be up there because
he's definitely
because he's got
that.
so many money streams. His band, of course, WWE, New Japan.
Let's see here. I'm looking. All right, New Japan Pro Wrestling G1 Special to return to the United States this summer. It'll be in San Francisco. July 7th is when it's going to be. So July 7th will be the G1 Special in San Francisco. So Brink and Cruz, if y'all get tickets to that, which I doubt y'all going to go all the way to San Francisco, but include me. Thank you. So with that being said, Wrestling Dontaku taking place this coming this coming week, Thursday and Friday. Also, this coming weekend will be WWE Backlash.
Yes.
So we can advertise women here on Markout Mania.
You know we can.
Let me go over the match card thus far. Also, now that I'm thinking about it, the scorecards for Backlash will be available this coming Wednesday, May 2nd, I think is Wednesday, May 2nd. Sometime after lunch, so be sure to go download those at PW Scorecards on Twitter. We're going to have those on our Facebook and Twitter pages, though, at Markout Mania. Here is the match card thus far for the Backlash pay-per-view. Seth Rollins will defend his Intercontinental title against The Miz. The Miz now on SmackDown. I could kind of see Rollins maybe retaining there. Roman Reigns versus Samoa Joe in a singles match. Nia Jax defending her Raw Women's Championship against Alexa Bliss in a rematch from WrestleMania.
Oh, Lord. Why?
I don't know. That's not the only rematch from WrestleMania that'll be happening that Sunday night, though. Carmella defending her SmackDown Women's Championship against Charlotte Flair. I'd like to think Charlotte Flair's going to win it back here.
I sure hope so.
I would hope so. Singles match, ooh, man, I got the hiccups now. Daniel Bryan versus Big Cass. And then AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura, part 3, I guess you could say, because part 2 kind of ended in a no contest.
Mm-hmm.
So wouldn't be surprised if Shinsuke got the win here, though.
Yeah.
This is one of those ones. Give Shinsuke the belt, then you have another match. Because these two cats, I mean, I could watch these two cats wrestle for the next few months. But that's all they have so far is only 6 matches. I'm thinking they might add 1 or 2 more, but right now, because the U.S. title match not on the line, there's no U.S. title match, there's no SmackDown tag team title match, and there won't be no Universal Championship match. So Roman Reigns and Samoa Joe will be like the Raw main event in a way. So, well, I guess Raw and SmackDown main event because Samoa Joe is now on SmackDown. So these two guys will fight. I think that'll kind of end their feud for a little while. Samoa Joe will go, find something to do on SmackDown, which there's plenty of opportunities on SmackDown for him. And then give Roman Reigns something fresh on Raw. Lesnar's not going to be around. Samoa Joe's not going to be around. So now you have the chance to give him something fresh. Maybe give him a Finn Balor. Give him give him a Drew McIntyre.
Yes.
That would be something I wouldn't mind seeing at all. So I'm looking forward not only to Backlash, but what comes of after Backlash, the aftermath, because now, we had the WrestleMania, we had the Superstar Shakeup, the call-up to the Greatest Royal Rumble, Backlash. Now things are going to kind of start getting into normalcy. You're going to go into the summer. You're going to have your storylines. Obviously, you're going to want to start building up a little bit going to SummerSlam. So the storyline build-up for the next couple of weeks is going to be very interesting because I think the next pay-per-view, now that I think about it, is they're going to have NXT TakeOver in Chicago, and that's an NXT show, though. Let me look real quick here we go, pay-per-view, and Money in the Bank will be the next pay-per-view event.
Mm-hmm.
That will actually be on, if I can get a date here, that'd be great, June 17th, Rosemont, Illinois. So in June, they'll have Money in the Bank, so that'll be interesting as well. Hopefully they'll have a SmackDown and a Raw Money in the Bank. Also, they'll probably have, if I had to guess, they're going to have 2 men's Money in the Bank matches and 2 women's Money in the Bank matches. I mean, that sounds about right to you, don't you think?
Mm-hmm. What do you think about Roman Reigns and Lashley?
That would be another good match. I would be okay with that. Those 2 guys could put on one hell of a match. Obviously, Lashley, most fans know Lashley. He's been here before. And then Roman Reigns. So what would be interesting there is to see what kind of storyline they would use with Roman Reigns and Lashley because we've never had Roman Reigns versus Bobby Lashley. So it would be a first time ever kind of thing. And that's what I like about it. It's different. We never seen it before. It'll be something different, and it could be the start of a good feud. If those 2 guys could put on a good match, that would be a really, really good feud. So that's another possibility. Who else came over?
Where's Anderson and Gallows?
SmackDown.
They're still SmackDown?
So they're going to kind of be hanging out with AJ now. So because they had on SmackDown last week, I think they had a 6-man tag. It was actually AJ, Gallows, and Anderson. So the club, from that perspective, has reunited on SmackDown. So that'll be fun to see going forward there. But Backlash. We're going to be doing our Backlash preview show Friday, May the 4th, 5:30. We'll have at least Brink in here, and I think Cruz too. Cruz said he was off too. We'll try and get Hunter on as well. We're all going to fill out our scorecards, and we won't have co-champions for long, maybe, unless we get another tie at the top here next Sunday. But Backlash preview show Friday, May 4th at 5:30 Central Time. So, of course, if you want to listen in on that, go to our Patreon page, subscribe or sign up for us, pay your $1 or whatever it is, and listen to it live, 5:30 p.m. Friday afternoon. And then, of course, you can get the uncensored version too as well, where you can hear all the behind-the-scenes stuff.
Shenanigans.
Yeah, it's really what it is. A lot of shenanigans before and after the show. So that's what's coming up next week with Backlash and Wrestling Dontaku. So a lot to look forward to next weekend.
You know what I'd like to see when they call up Undisputed Era? Like a feud with the Shield.
That would be great.
Yeah. I think that would be really good.
Speaking of the Shield, any word on when Dean Ambrose is going to be back? No word? I'm hoping he'll be back by SummerSlam, at least, I would think. But that'll be interesting. So, with that being said, you want to go now into Cheap Heat?
Let's do it.
All right, you got something on Cheap Heat. I don't have anything on Cheap Heat, so let's just do what you got for old Cheap Heat.
Yeah, God bless Twitter. This is another thing, the goodness of Twitter shining through. So, apparently Jazz, WWE former superstar, tweeted out to Charlotte saying, or tweeted out to her fans on Twitter, who do you think would win a match, me or Charlotte? Right? So, then Charlotte
was
replies,
it a poll or just
no? It was just like a tweet saying, "Who do you think would win, me or Charlotte?" And then Charlotte says, "Maybe if you stop the I am a great fan because I say everyone sucks crap." And then Jazz says, "I don't bow down to no one. How fast people forget who the F I am and who the F I made." And then. Let's see. Let me go here. They go back and forth a few more times. And then Jazz says, "You know this is wrestling entertainment. Not my fault that I'm an effing worker and just work the S out of you. 1, 2, 3, and still the baddest B. Laugh out loud. I love this business." Mm-hmm. Then Jazz tweeted, "To all my fans, I did tweet about who would love to see old school versus new school at Miss Charlotte WWE. I have nothing but respect for the women in WWE. All this was not meant to be turned into a war. I just wanted to see what the fans would say." And then, so later on, Charlotte said something again, and then, but I can't see what she says. Like right here, it just says, "Congratulations at Braun Strowman." But then, apparently they went back and forth in this thread, and then it says right here from Jazz, "This started out for the fans, but if you want to get personal, B ain't never scared. Ask your dad who the F I am." Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
Possible Jazz Charlotte match maybe in the future.
Yeah, and Jazz still has it too, man. I saw her at a few Pro Wrestling 225 shows. She's ready to go, man. She can hop in that ring and go toe to toe.
That would be an interesting match, those two.
Yeah.
So Jazz, obviously the hometown
right
girl. I think she's from
Louisiana
New Orleans,
girl. Yeah,
Louisiana girl there. So
now let me ask you this:
interesting.
Who do you think would win in a shoot street fight?
In a shoot street fight?
Yeah,
Jazz.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Come on now, Jazz. I mean, that's a. Hey, look, I would not want to fight Jazz.
Right.
Then again, I probably wouldn't want to fight Charlotte either, but. I wouldn't mind wrestling Charlotte for especially if there was a limited clothing.
Now, of course, if it's going to be kayfabe, Charlotte's going to win every day and twice on Sunday.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Charlotte's the best women's wrestler in the world right now. So.
Yeah, agreed. So that was pretty interesting.
Absolutely, yeah. I would love that'd be really cool. So glad to see. I'm sure
I wonder if WWE book it.
I don't know, but. This wouldn't be the first time, a feud has started on Twitter and has become a wrestling match out of it. So it's just a new medium for wrestlers to really kind of start a feud on Twitter. And I would not be surprised if WWE did go that route, just to have a one-off, have Jazz show up for a few weeks, build up a little bit of a match, and have a match maybe over the summer or sometime between SummerSlam and Survivor Series. Who knows? But I don't think it's going to happen. But it would be cool to see Jazz back in the ring, bring somebody back. And especially if she can still go. If she can still go, then why not,
Rodney Mack can walk her out to the ring.
Rodney Mack can stay home, man. He can stay home. Just bring Jazz. We don't need Rodney Mack here. Of course.
Bring the dog out.
Because Rodney Mack, other than the fact that he was from, Lafayette, never really done anything for me. And he had Teddy Long with him, though, for a while, so... But Jazz had a little more to her as far as in the women's division. So
Rodney's still keeping in great shape too. He looks really good.
Oh yeah, no doubt about that. So that's all you have for Cheap Heat?
Yeah, that's it.
All right. So now we're going to go to Are They Worth It?
Yes.
Announcer edition. So for those of you who have never or who didn't listen to our first one, Ryan, let them know how this is going to go.
Right, so we're going to go down a list, and we're going to tell Patrick how much these announcers make a year, and he's going to tell us whether they're worth it or not. All right. Brian Saxton, $250K a year.
Byron Saxton?
Yeah.
$250K a year. I would say he's worth it.
That's more than some wrestlers make.
I would say he's worth it because he has great chemistry with Graves. Him and Graves together is money.
I think that's as much as Charlotte makes.
I say he's worth it. I don't agree that maybe he should get paid more than some wrestlers, but as far as what he brings to the announce table, his character, I think he's worth it.
Boy, did he luck out. Failed wrestler. Couldn't make it out of NXT. But boy, did he get a sweet job in the booth.
Absolutely, yeah. And he got to call the greatest Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
So that was fun.
All right. And of course, this guy's video just got viral from his call of NXT New Orleans. And I know I'm going to butcher his name. You may have to help me with this.
Mauro Ranallo.
Mauro Ranallo, yes.
How much does he make?
$250K.
He needs to get paid more.
Yeah.
Definitely, he needs to get paid more than Saxton. That's for sure.
Well, isn't he just NXT though?
Yeah, he's just NXT though. So, but he should be calling SmackDown right now.
Yes,
he should be. But you know what? If I'm him, I would rather call NXT because right now NXT is the exciting brand in WWE.
Right.
So, I think he's worth at least $500,000.
Well, the reason he went to NXT is because he was getting bullied from Bradshaw.
Yeah,
and he quit for a while.
Yeah, Bradshaw's not even on SmackDown anymore.
Exactly.
I think he's worth at least $500,000. The dude called the McGregor-Mayweather boxing match. He's called MMA.
Yep.
The guy is...
I think he's the official announcer for Bellator, right?
Yeah, I think so. So he's the jack of all trades as far as announcing goes. He's worth at least $500,000, and in my opinion, he is the best announcer that WWE has full-time right now.
I tell you what, with all his other streams of the other companies he's working for, this cat's probably making $700K a year.
Oh, dude, he's got to be. And that's what I like about him. He calls wrestling, he calls MMA, he calls boxing, he can call any of the combat sports, he can call it.
Yeah, and he's full of passion.
Absolutely. That video of him at NXT TakeOver New Orleans, I mean, was really awesome. So props to Morrow. He deserves a lot more than $250,000. Definitely.
And you know what? The more that I think about it, why he probably doesn't want to move up is he doesn't have to travel much with NXT.
Exactly.
He really only has to travel when he does boxing or MMA.
Exactly. And you get paid $250,000 to basically work
and live in Orlando.
Yeah. I mean,
come on.
He's got a good now. Sure. Now, obviously, I think part of that, him working in NXT, not having that traveling schedule, has a lot to do with the fact that he does these other things like Bellator and stuff like that.
Right.
So Morrow's got it made in the shade right now. Definitely worth at least double of what WWE is paying him, though. Yeah. Absolutely.
Do you know who Marcelo Rodriguez is?
Marcelo Rodriguez. He is their Spanish announcer.
Okay. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
$300K.
I say he's worth it.
Yeah?
Yeah. Because they only, as far as I don't know, because they're not on Raw. I don't think they don't ever show up. They only show up to pay-per-views.
Oh, it says Raw right here.
Let me see.
Because Raw is in Spanish every week.
Well, they sure.
Oh, you're going to see some of these figures.
I just saw them. It's all. I mean, I'm about to hear them anyway. So,
yeah.
But Marcelo Rodriguez, I don't know if that's the thing. I don't ever see them on Raw though, unless they're like.
Yeah, if you hit the SAP button on your TV,
yeah,
you'll hear him.
Okay. Well, I don't know, but
he's probably off screen somewhere. He probably has a screen like
maybe
that, like
so.
Vince
$300,000. I would say he's worth it. Yeah, because he's like their number one Spanish guy.
Yeah,
so, yeah, and he's been there a long time. So yeah, definitely worth it.
Gotcha. All right, the tattooed wonder himself, Corey Graves, $400K.
Oh man. Look, as far as a pure announcing, not worth it. As far as what he brings to the table, as far as his character and all that stuff, definitely worth it. The dude, I mean, I would say I'd say he's worth it. Yeah, he's
the cool
he's
thing
barely worth it, but he's he's golden at commentary. Him and Saxton, they should have never split those two up. As far as calling a match, though, he's probably not that great. But as far as what he brings to the commentary table, he's absolute gold. He's one of those guys that if he had his own wrestling show, I would definitely listen to it.
Yeah.
But $400,000, yeah. There's another guy. He was a wrestler and he got hurt. And actually, I read a while back that when Daniel Bryan got cleared, he actually looked into trying to see if he could get cleared.
Really?
So I don't think he will, though. If I'm him, I wouldn't want to get cleared. Dude,
No.
You got a hell of a gig. You're on Raw and you're on SmackDown, so you're guaranteed to be on every pay-per-view, and you're an announcer, and you're getting paid $400,000 a year. Yeah, thank you very much. But barely worth it, but I think he's worth it.
Yeah, I like it. I like him because he's not polished, like a Michael Cole or something like that. Like, he kind of seems more like, the average guy back there.
Yeah.
And just like Triple H said, like, because they had like this little, I don't know if it was on NXT or Raw, but it was showing, like the progression of what Corey went through after, the doctor said, you can't compete anymore. And he went home and told his wife, she's like, what are you going to do? And he was like, I have no idea. And then Triple H called him up and gave him, the contract to be an announcer.
Yeah.
And they were talking in the room, and he was like, what a great look. All these tattoos in a suit. He was like, it's gold. And he's got a great look.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And he's, like I said, as far as pure announcing, he's probably not that great. But as far as a color guy, he's worth it.
Yeah.
As a play-by-play guy, main announcer, he wouldn't be worth $400,000. But as a color guy to sit there and go back and forth with the other color guy, definitely worth $400,000.
Yeah. Tom Phillips.
All right, Tom Phillips, what you got?
$450K.
No, he's not worth it.
No hesitation right there.
He's not worth it.
Why not?
He's just, he's a little bland to me. He's good, but he's bland. He can announce. He can do a good job of announcing, but like his ceiling to me is like much lower than what a professional wrestling announcer should be. Like I said, he gets excited at times, but guys like a Jim Ross that he pulls you in, and sometimes, and Michael Cole doesn't really, very rarely can Michael Cole pull me in. Tom Phillips never really pulls me in. He's just he's bland to me. And like I said, he's a good announcer. I'm not hating on his announcing skills, but he calls what he sees, and that's it.
Well, let's go back to JR. When JR, he only had one partner, right?
Yeah.
So he had to be a hybrid of announcer and color.
I also don't like 3 announcers. That's just me. I think 2 should be. Because going back to the greatest Royal Rumble, the announcing, man, was just kind of all over the place. Like, I think they were worried about saying the wrong thing, and because they obviously in Saudi Arabia, they were a little more, I don't know, they were restricted as to what they could maybe say.
Right. They probably had a whole list of stuff.
Somebody was talking about maybe jet lag, because, dude, they were just, I don't know, it was they were delirious by the end of the show.
I'd imagine.
It was, at times it just seemed kind of awkward, and having 3 guys were there. I don't know. In my opinion, they need to go back to 2-man. I think Cole and Graves would be. Now, obviously, the 3-man thing worked with Graves and Saxton, because those 2 guys just go back and forth. Like, Graves is always giving, Saxton hell, and, Saxton just kind of takes it, gives a little bit back, and that's kind of funny. But for the most part, I don't know, just the way, and especially when the coach came back. Since the coach came back, and I like the coach, don't get me wrong, but I don't know, it just hasn't been clicking to me that much. So I think a 2-man, I think on Raw you should have Graves and Cole. Hell, as far as I'm concerned, get Cole out of there, put somebody else put Morrow right there for all I care.
Yeah.
Morrow and Graves would be great together. And then on SmackDown have I don't know, Tom Phillips and maybe Saxton or Graves. I don't know, one of the 2. Or you could even put, hell, as far as I'm concerned, you could put Graves and Saxton together just by themselves. And even if they can't actually pure call a match, that'd be entertaining to listen to those 2 guys just go back and forth. Maybe Saxton has a little bit of a, well, I don't know, Graves might be able to call a match too, but just having those 2 guys by themselves would be probably very entertaining. But Certainly, there's no better duo out there than Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler.
Oh, no.
There's never been there never will be, as far as I'm concerned. But back to, what was the last one we were talking about?
Tom Phillips.
Tom Phillips, yeah, not worth $450,000.
Gotcha. All right, Booker T, $550K.
Not worth it as an announcer. Worth it as a talent. As an announcer, not worth it.
Yeah. All right. Michael Cole, $650K.
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Making more than Bray Wyatt.
I would say he's worth it. If you went to $1 million, I'd say he's not. He's about that's about right. Because obviously he's their main announcer in WWE. He's been there a long time, and back in the day, he was actually a really good announcer. But now I think the fact that he, you have all these people talking in your ear and all this other stuff, that it's much harder to be an announcer nowadays than it was 20 years ago. So I would say barely worth it, but because, man, there's sometimes, and, last night I was also watching, I hate how they look down at the monitors instead of actually watching what's going on in the ring. Like, it's not a good look to me.
Saw those amazing angles that Bucky Beaver's getting.
Yeah, I know. And that's another one that, I don't care what he's making, he ain't worth it. Especially while that lame, the camera work, that dude, because if he's pushing the buttons, like, all right, this camera, then I'm sure it's him pushing those buttons.
Yeah.
Or telling somebody to push those buttons. Dude, you need to, calm down. You're going to get somebody motion sickness watching, the way you just shift all these cameras and everything. So, I don't know. I don't care what he's making. He ain't worth it. And then he needs to take whatever money he is making and get a better look, because Jesus Christ, thank God you're not on camera. That he has a face of somebody who should be behind the camera. So, Bucky Beaver, Kevin Dunn. But yeah, Michael Cole, barely.
Kevin Dunn makes
worth it.
$4.7 million a year.
Not worth it. You can find
that's
somebody.
That's more than Triple H.
That's
more than Vince McMahon.
Not worth it. Not worth it.
It's crazy.
Not worth it. That's all I'm saying. Not worth it.
All right, so that was Are They Worth It?
And Kevin Dunn, not worth it. Well, with that being said, I think we covered everything today on today's podcast, including the fact that Kevin Dunn is not worth it.
Yeah.
So, Ryan, anything else you got to add on to this?
Man, just be able to go on to Twitter, at MarkoutMania, follow us. And then also, if you have an iPhone, make sure you go to that podcast button and search Markout Mania. Be sure to follow us. Also, leave a comment and rate us so that we can get in iTunes algorithm, so that we start showing up as suggested podcast and, on people's feeds, so that they know that Markout Mania is out there.
Absolutely. Looking forward to some great wrestling this weekend, including the Wrestling Dontaku, the 2 nights there. Also Backlash, and looking forward to we'll see where the storylines in WWE go beyond Backlash going into the summer, because summertime is somewhat of a downtime in WWE, at least in the months of June and early July, or late May, June, early July, around there, because then about mid-July is when late July is when they're going to start really building up SummerSlam. They also got Money in the Bank coming up in June, too, so that's going to be interesting as well. Looking forward, though, to, like I said, to the wrestling this weekend. Really, enjoyed the Greatest Royal Rumble event, and hope that they have more network specials in the future.
Right. Find us on the internet at markoutmania.com. That's your central hub to find us everywhere. iTunes, Spreaker, YouTube, iHeart, and the list goes on and on. markoutmania.com. All right, Patrick, it's time for you to give out that line, brother.
Outro.
You've been listening to the Markout Mania podcast, a Lake Area Media, LLC production. The views and opinions expressed in this show are those of Ryan Keith and Patrick Fry and are not affiliated with any wrestling promotion or company. Follow Markout Mania on Facebook and subscribe to us on YouTube. For all Markout Mania links, news, and free podcasts, visit markoutmania.com. You've been marked.